name is Daniele Zonca, and I'm part of OpenShift AI team, in particular focusing on the architectural challenges about model serving. Platform that enable to scale workload. You want probably to scale your workload, AI workload, and you wanted to integrate that with your application. So probably you don't want to use an application without AI, and at the same time you don't want to take AI independently, like a sort of a lab environment. You need to know is that all the building blocks that you need are already part of the platform, but there are some specific aspects that you need to keep in mind. So for example, especially if you're looking about generative AI, so large language model and that type of initiative, that type of technology, they all essentially require the accelerator, GPU, or in general dedicated hardware. The management on that and the traditional scaling, for example, of OpenShift itself, of Kubernetes, it's not really yet or optimized for that type of hardware. So you also needed to consider that. So it's a normal workload. You should not be worried about running AI on top of OpenShift, but you need to be aware of the fact that there are some challenges about the fact that AI is going to probably trigger some specific scenario that is maybe not that common in normal application. When they approach AI on OpenShift, you can approach from a data scientist perspective, and at that point, usually you mainly want to focus on the model. So you needed to know that it's a declarative platform. So you declare the fact that you want to deploy the model, and you're going to get the model running, and you're going to get the endpoint to it that and you can work with that. So from a data science perspective, you really need to focus on the model and the desired state. That is, okay, I want to deploy my model. While another usually stakeholder in the MLOps pipe scenario is the MLOps engineer. So the person that is in charge of the platform that needed to take care of the, let's say, healthiness of the platform, making sure that the workload is running well. And for that other persona, you need to be aware of the fact that, again, this type of model usually are using GPU and are using accelerators. So in addition to the traditional monitoring that you're doing, have a look also to how the usage of the resources are done. Keep in mind that there are some metrics that are specific for AI about, for example, the model can drift, so the models can start to behave in a way that is wrong or is not as expected as before. So keep in mind that you needed to add additional, let's say, metrics in the monitoring that you are doing. So that's, I will say, from a point of view, are the top tip if you are coming from different persona to the model serving problem on OpenShift. In general, a good mindset that everyone that in general using OpenShift, it's important, but for AI, it's even probably more important, is that GitOps is your friend. Try to version everything, try to use that, because it's very easy that you start in a lab environment, you do something, and at a certain point, maybe you have an unexpected scenario, and reproduce that can be, let's say, quite painful, because maybe there was a lot of experimentation. It's quite common that when you at the beginning, you do a lot of model exploration, data exploration, so you're really trying to work with data. So it's important that the sooner the better. Even if it's at the beginning, try to implement this kind of procedure upfront, because this is going to benefit in the long run. If you already have OpenShift available, go to Operator Hub. You can search for OpenShift AI, install the operator, configure the platform, configure the component that you need, and play with that. Otherwise, there is the developer sandbox. Of course, it's a constrained environment, so you cannot expect to deploy a large language model out of the box there. Maybe we will be able to enable that, but at the moment, of course, it also has a hardware requirement. Otherwise, if you want to start upstream, Open Data Hub is the integration community project that we use to integrate and consolidate all the technologies that are become part of the product.